We got the Blackstone Griddle back here in the warehouse, and we've got our 4-foot barbecue coach module frame kit. We're gonna assemble the frame. We're gonna get this out of the box, and we're gonna build this into a frame to show a nice, inexpensive way to get a griddle into your barbecue island. Let's go. Okay, we're putting in the 3-way couplers fast and easy into our length wall frames, and we're easily using these self-drilling screws to screw it together. No other framing system is as fast and easy as the barbecue coach system. It's amazing. Okay, we've got the box unpacked here, and here's all of the parts that came with this unit. Now, with our barbecue coach module, we have 3 length walls assembled. We're gonna leave the top front length wall alone right now until we do our measurements and decide how to frame the cutout for the grill here. So the next step is to measure the width of this griddle. Okay, so right off the bat, we don't need these shelves. You have 2 shelves for the left and right side of the cart. We'll throw those away. And then you have the stabilizer piece that only would be used if you have the cart. So we'll throw that away as well. And now we're left with the cover, the Blackstone cover. You can identify that because obviously it says Blackstone on the outside. So that's the cover. And then we've taken the griddle top, and now that'll sit on the top. So those are the only pieces that we need for as a built-in. And also you have your grease tray that's going in the back here. You can see it's back here to collect the grease. So that just comes off like this. So we're gonna have to create a way that you'll be able to access it. One, we wanna measure the width. So we're going from here to the right side, and it's about 29 inches, and you add this little screw here that's kind of sticking out. So let's say that's 29 and I'd say 1/4. Let's actually put it on the screw head. Okay, that's on the screw. That's on the screw. So it's almost 29 3/8 here. So we're gonna make our cutout 29 3/4 just to have a little extra wiggle room. So now we'll write it down on our paper, 29 3/4 inches. So now we are measuring the height of the Blackstone from right here from the bottom to the top, and it's looking like it's 8 1/4 inch high. So we'll write that down in height, 8 1/4 inch high. Okay, so now we're measuring the depth of the actual unit from here to the outside here, and it's 17 3/8 inch depth. Now we're gonna measure the depth with the grease cup. So we'll measure all the way out to this handle here, to there. It's 22 inches. So now we have both measurements, and we'll go along as we frame it. Okay, so now on our 4-foot module, we want to find the center. So we measured out here, and of course on 4 feet, half is 24 inches. So we made our center mark there. The next we go and we look at the width of our grill with the extra wiggle room. It's 29 3/4. Let's just call it 30 so we can easily divide it by 2 and call it 15. So now we would measure 15 inches over from the center to get our left vertical tube. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and measuring from the center. We'll make our mark at 15 inches. And now the next step is you'll flip the measuring tape around, and you'll measure from this left side over the 29 3/4 inches, and our cutout should be centered. That's how you center a cutout in a 4-foot module, you see? So we'll just make that mark. We're going right from here over 29 3/4 inches, and he'll make a mark. And that should be very close for nice center space. You can kind of see we got this much space here, and it's about the same amount spacing there. So now we're gonna install our vertical tube on the left side, left of this line. Right there's the vertical tube gonna go, and then we'll measure over one more time to double check and install our right vertical tube here. Very easy. So now that we're getting more into this, we have decided the most economical way to address this grease pan is to have this above the finished countertop a couple inches. So instead of using that depth measurement from here to the ground, we're gonna just measure underneath here. And right now we're at about 5 3/4 inches to the bottom of that grease tray. We'll take that measurement and we'll deduct the 1/2 inch for cement board and whatever our countertop's gonna be. Let's say it's gonna be 1.5 inch granite counter, and then maybe give another inch of space above the countertop. And that will give us our height to install our platform kit. I think that'll be the best way to do this. Okay, so we're screwing in right to the left side of that line, you see? Very easy with our one-way couplers. So you can see here what we did. We got the VT up. We used our three-way corner here. We cut a piece from here to there to fit on that three-way corner, and we have our CTT, pre-cut CTT, and a one-way back here making the return. Just like that. Now we'll screw all that together, and then we'll do the same thing on the right side. Okay, so now we moved on to the right side. We did the same thing. We got our piece bridging the three-way corners, and this returns the CTT to a one-way coupler. We clamped it here to keep it nice and square and even, and we're gonna screw that in, and we'll have both the right and left side of the griddle. We're doing very fast progress here. It's really looking good. Okay, now we just screwed in the behind the griddle part here. Nice and clean. You can see how it's looking like a grill cutout now. Now, just to mention, the module is sold separately from this grill cutout kit. A grill cutout kit makes the opening into a module. Now, because this grill platform wasn't really designed for a barbecue island, we're gonna also have to get an additional part sold separately called a grill platform kit, and that's gonna make a platform in here for it to sit on. Okay, now we're putting together a VT for dead center in the back for extra support. Now we're gonna go ahead and cut one more tube, the same width as that one, for below the grill part, which was included with the grill cutout kit. Now we're cutting these to fit these width pieces, but with the Barbecue Coach grill cutout kit that you're going to receive, it's gonna have telescoping parts here. So that way you wouldn't do any cutting on these width parts. They're telescoping, so no cutting for those width parts. This CTT is pre-cut to fit our 31.5-inch depth module. So as long as you didn't make a shorter module, there's no cutting for those either. So that helps out a lot. The VTs, they're pre-cut in the factory. CTTs are pre-cut. So honestly saying, the only thing you would have to cut is this left and right part here, unless you got one of our spacer kits that we sell. Okay, we screwed together our below the grill part, and now we've decided that we're gonna install it 3 inches down. Because with 3 inches down, as we build up our countertop, a 1/2-inch cement board, some tiles or granite countertop, it'll be perfect. Our grease tray would still be above the countertop. Okay, we're marking 3 inches on the left side of the frame here, and then we're gonna do it on the right side as well, so it'll be easy to line up this below the grill part, you see? 3 inches down, easy. So now you can see how we have the grill cutout kit installed. Below the grill, behind the grill, right and left sides of grill. Now remember, telescoping cutout kits will have this telescoping and that telescoping, and these pre-cut for a 31.5-inch frame. Sometimes I get people that they want to cut down their frames to a shorter depth, like 24 inches, which is fine for maybe like a serving island for drawers and things like that. But when you're dealing with grills, I just watched a YouTube video the other day. The guy, he made this module, the depth of his island too short. And what happened when it was finished? His grill hood hit the backsplash. So it caused him a lot of trouble. So that's why we have the sizes all pre-made for you guys to save you those types of problems in the future when you're finishing this out. So Barbecue Coach has over 20 years of this, so we know what we're doing, believe me, with these measurements. So now that we have the grill cutout kit installed, we're ready for our grill platform kit, which is sold separately, and that's gonna make that nice platform across here for the griddle to sit on. With the grill platform kit, you get 2 of these 4-foot long CT catcher tracks. And that's what's gonna hold your square tubes horizontally. So we took our first catcher track, we clamped it on the inside of the module here on the right and on the left, and you can see we made it so it's flush to the below the grill part. You don't want it sticking above this part to block the griddle. You want it nice and level. And now we'll take the second one after we screw this in. we'll just screw right through the catcher track into those vertical tubes. And that's what holds this in position. And then we'll duplicate that with the other catcher track on the back side, exactly so it's level. Very easy. Okay, so we're measuring down 3 inches and we're installing that back catcher track, nice and easy. Now we're going to go ahead and install our horizontal members. We put one here on the left side of the opening, one on the right side of the opening, and then 2 more out here in the field. And that'll be a nice place to put a piece of cement board for a grill platform. Okay, there we go. We got all 4 in there now, and we can go ahead and put in screws. We wouldn't put screws here. It's better to put them down on the bottom through the track into the vertical, into the tubes on the both sides. So that's 1 screw, 2 screws from below. Total of 8 screws for 4 horizontals. So now we've measured the width, 29.5, and then the depth. So now we got our piece of cement board out here. And we'll go ahead and draw out our cut lines, and we'll cut this to fit on top of that platform. Okay, we got our circular saw with the diamond blade to cut cement board. We've drawn our lines onto a piece of hardy back here, and we're gonna go ahead and cut this. So the handles already have the screws in the handle, so you just unscrew those and screw them in. That's where the screws are for the handles. Now the next step is you have 2 control knobs that will easily slip in on the front of these controls. So that's very easy. Everything's pretty simple here. Now we're putting the handles on. They just slip right on. Nice and easy. You want the orange part facing up to the off position. That's pretty nice. It looks really good. Now the next step is your igniter here. I'll go ahead and unscrew it, and you'll put a battery in there. So that way it will ignite. You can see the igniters back here. There's one over each burner. That's called an igniter. One there and one there. You can see where the gas comes out the holes. So when you turn the gas on, then this makes a spark and it lights it up. Very nice. Look at that. You got a lot of heat here. It's really good for such an inexpensive griddle. Okay, we got our Blackstone. We're putting it into position here on our opening. We kind of thread the propane access here to the side. It goes right through to hang down. Be careful when you do that. You don't want to cut the cord. And then we'll go ahead and install it. Wow, it's a perfect fit. Look at that. That's super nice. Now let's take a look at the back and see how that grease tray is above the frame. Let's take a look. Perfect. It's a good distance above this frame. So when we add the cement board and the countertop material, this will still be up over our countertop, not touching it. Now, if you goof and this is touching the countertop, I have a simple fix for it. I'm going to give it to you free. It's a free Barbecue Coach tip. You just add more sheets of cement board underneath this to lift this thing up. It's for clearance. Easy. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and put on top the griddle. We'll go ahead and set the griddle on top, and we line up those little holes there. You see, just like that. There. It should be nice and flush all the way in. And there's the griddle, and you can see where the grease is going to go out the back here into that tray. Now this is a much better design because we didn't have to spend an extra $200 for a door back here and trying to reach in here to get this grease tray. It's much better to have the grease tray over the countertop. I think this is a much better design that I came up with here, and it's really nice. Now we're going to go ahead and put the cover on it. Okay, so when now with those brackets, you lift the handle off and see how this catches on the back? So that lets it kind of hang off the back. That's the purpose of those brackets. So I don't know if you'd really want that or not. It's up to you. You can see how it would just kind of like sit on the back of your countertop. I mean, it's an option, and then it's easy to put it back on top. So it's up to you whether you want the brackets or not, but now you know how to put a Blackstone grill here built into your Barbecue Coach frame. You can save a lot of money, and look, it looks amazing. And you can see how the propane hose, it hangs nice and low down here for your tank. So that's good too. And you have your cement board as a heat shield. So that way it's protecting your propane tank from the heat of the grill. Anyway, heat usually rises, but it's an extra safety, that cement board, and it makes a nice platform. So now you could have an access door here on the front to put your propane tank out, or better yet, a propane drawer would be super nice. Or maybe you could put it even on the end here. If this is the end of your island, you could put a propane drawer or just a nice door here and slip in your propane tank on this side. So you have a couple options there. I'd probably go with the door and just save money. So that looks great. Fantastic job. I wish you a great outdoor kitchen project. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up, and we'll make more videos. Thank you.